Manx Radio's Update with Beth Espy.
Well, Fastamai, good evening. It's Tuesday, and over the next half hour, we'll take you through the main news that's been happening today. Coming up, why the new Minister without portfolio has been defending his new role in the House of Keys. There's some good news for the island's fishing industry, but there is a catch. We're going to be finding out about an event in the morning for carers on the island, and the owners of a disabled dog thank those who've helped fund a meeting with the super vet. All that, plus we'll keep an eye on the traffic and travel as well. We understand there's a problem with the lights at Victoria Road, at York Road at the moment. They're not working, so do watch out for that. And as ever, if you'd like to get in touch, 166 177 is the text number, or you can email studio@manxradio.com. We'll start though with a roundup of today's main news with Lewis Fastamai.
Fastamai. The new health minister has been quizzed on whether she believes Manx Care will come in on budget during this financial year. In the House of Keys, Claire Christian has been asked whether or not the healthcare provider would be able to achieve its financial targets this year or next without impacting frontline services.
I am not unable to give a yes or no answer. It is my choice that I do not give this arbitrary answer at this point.
And after being appointed as Minister without portfolio, Tim Crookall has been defending his new role.
The Honourable Member made poor faces. I've been in the job just over a week. Please give me the opportunity to get my feet under the desk.
He says his role is to assist with the millions of pounds of efficiencies Chief Minister Alfred Cannon is hoping to make throughout government. Douglas Council is asking residents to dispose of knives appropriately after a number of blades were found in a curbside recycling box today. The local authority says it not only poses a risk to its staff, but members of the public also. And the lower path and entrance at Colby Glen has been closed following a landslide. The Department of Environment, Food and Agriculture says the upper Glen entrance and paths remain open. In the latest international news, lawmakers in South Korea have voted to block a move to martial law. The president just hours ago said it was necessary to protect the country from North Korea's communist forces and eliminate anti-state elements. He's accused the opposition of colluding with Pyongyang. A man's been arrested after a young mum was knocked off an e-bike in a hit and run. Alana Armstrong died at the scene of the crash in Derbyshire a week ago. A 23-year-old's been held on suspicion of murder. And the BBC is pulling its MasterChef Christmas specials after presenter Greg Wallace was accused of inappropriate behaviour. His lawyers have denied he's engaged in behaviour of a sexually harassing nature. Those are the headlines. I'll be back with the news at 6 o'clock.
Thank you very much, Lewis. Now the weather brought to you by Manx Glass and Glazing. Cloudy and dry to start this evening, but then rain will arrive from the west later. It'll clear overnight and there'll be some clear intervals. Southwest winds, they'll increase fresh, locally strong before easing overnight, and minimum temperatures will be around 4. So quite a chilly start to the day tomorrow. Sunny intervals, then becoming cloudy in the afternoon. More rain in the evening. That is going to be heavy at times. Light winds will steadily increase to reach a strong to gale force southerly by tomorrow evening. We'll keep an eye on that one. And maximum temperatures tomorrow will be around 12. And then just looking ahead to Thursday, showers or longer spells of rain. Still quite windy, a strong to near gale force southwest wind. Sunset this evening was at 3:57. Sunrise tomorrow morning just before 8:20.
Manx Glass and Glazing can supply and install single, double and triple glazing. Call 674 573 or visit the showroom on the Snugborough Trading Estate.
SMS Trading have moved to 3 St Paul's Square, Ramsey. For flat pack to fully built, new or second-hand furniture, SMS Trading offer all-island delivery and man-in-a-van service. Call 315151 or find SMS Trading on Facebook.
See the island like you've never seen it before on an incredible chauffeur-driven trike tour. A unique way to make memories that will last a lifetime. Gift vouchers available too. See iomtriketours.com for details and booking.
A great night's sleep got even better with Zed's Bedding Store. From quality Beldorm bed linen and mattress protectors, fleece and woven throws to luxury duvets from the fine bedding company. Zed's Bedding Ramsey, next to Isle of Man Bank.
If you run a small business or just need more room in the back, Philshaw Vehicles has the perfect van or light commercial for all your needs and can sort out any finance. Based in the Tremode estate, view philshawvehicles.im or call 49 51 49.
It's 5:05. You're listening to Update here on Manx Radio FM. And as we just heard Lewis talking about there, the Minister without portfolio has been rather defending his new role in the House of Keys today. Now, Tim Crookall was moved from infrastructure to the new position during this reshuffle of the Chief Minister's Council of Ministers last week. Seems like longer ago than that. In today's sitting, Mr Crookall said his role was to assist with the millions of pounds of efficiencies that Alf Cannon is hoping to make throughout government. But Mr Crookall urged members to give him a chance before criticising his new role.
In September at the Government Conference, the Chief Minister announced that he had tasked the Chief Executive Officer at Isle of Man Government to draw up a government efficiency and reform programme to deliver at a minimum £10 million of savings and efficiencies outside of healthcare. Whilst the Council of Ministers are yet to fully agree the detailed approach to the £10 million efficiency programme, there has been a significant amount of activity completed across the various central functions overseen by the Chief Officer Group. Departments remaining within their existing budgets remain a crucial part of the efficiency programme. To this end, the Treasury are supporting departments with back-to-balance programmes, where required, to ensure that spending is managed appropriately and that the medium-term financial plan can be met. Mr Speaker, alongside this, the Council Ministers and the Chief Officer Group are looking at both short-term and long-term savings within departments with a keen focus on digitisation and efficiencies. The Chief Minister will update Tynwald Court in January 2025 on efficiency-related matters, and if it is appropriate, the Chief Minister will also write to honourable members before the end of this month with an update on the efficiency programmes. Mr Speaker, as Minister without portfolio, my role consists of assisting and advising the Chief Minister with delivery and the efficiency programmes across government. Ultimately, the Chief Minister retains oversight of these programmes. As well as the efficiency programmes, I will have a focus on external relations, and I will also be supporting the Chief Minister and the Council of Ministers with departmental budgets.
Mr Hooper, supplementary question.
I'd like to thank my honourable friend for that answer. It seems that he talked a lot about what the CEO is doing, what the Treasury is doing, what departments are doing, even what the Chief Minister is doing. There wasn't really a lot about what he is doing in this role. It seems very much that my honourable friend has become a title holder in search of a task. Can he advise whether or not he has any budget or staff allocated to him to support his leadership of the efficiency programmes?
As of this moment, until Council Ministers have been briefed, there's very little I can say to the honourable members, and I would expect the honourable member to understand that, and that briefing is coming up very shortly. I actually have no staff, except for I'm using the Cabinet Office staff at the moment.
Supplementary question, Ms Edge.
Doesn't sound like Santa's bringing us any efficiency savings, does it? So it was announced in September about efficiencies and effectiveness of government. Here we are in December. Can the Minister say, obviously he's only been in the role a week or so, what has actually been delivered?
The honourable member may pull faces. I've been in the job just over a week. Please give me the opportunity to get my feet under the desk and work with the Chief Minister and those that are involved. And as I've said, the Chief Minister will update honourable members as soon as possible.
Ooh, all a little bit feisty in Keys today. That is the Minister without portfolio, Tim Crookall, who was answering questions from Julie Edge and also his honourable friend, Laurie Hooper. Now, I should say at this point, we haven't actually spoken to Tim Crookall in detail about his new position. We have heard from the new DOI Minister, Dr Michelle Hayward, and also the new Cabinet Office Minister, David Ashford. We have invited Claire Christian, the new DHSC Minister, several times to come and speak to us about her new position. She has yet to respond to that, but we are holding out it will happen very soon. 9 minutes past 5. We're going to stay with Keys because members today discussed items ranging from £70 million and counting, the Liverpool ferry terminal, to Manx Care, where the price tag is eye-watering and still growing, according to some members. And then there was a question from Jason Morehouse. This was about the cost to government of its scaffolding. That, we learned, ranged annually from a high of £16,000 to a modest £2,000. Small beer in terms of financial importance was what John Moss suggested to Mr Morehouse.
Oh, definitely, but we have to watch the pennies and then the pounds will look after themselves.
The point I'm trying to make it is this not you making publicity for yourself, asking a question about anything that will get you on your feet in a bit of
certainly not, John. Certainly, you know me better than that. Yeah, it was asked for a specific reason. It's not an urgent question, but I feel it does need to be asked periodically, just in terms of how money is being used and spent.
So when you sit down in the evening in front of your roaring fire with perhaps a glass of something, you consider what questions do you ask. What are the priorities? What do you look for in a question?
I think in terms of the questions, I'm going to be influenced by the relative importance and what other questions I've got.
Who?
Either constituents, the people involved, stakeholders, just in terms of each question, it's got a certain group of people who are attached to it, and those are going to kind of be asked if it's appropriate, and I feel there's a need.
So was the scaffolding question a light bulb moment for yourself, or were you approached?
Oh, no, it's quite interesting. Well, the scaffolding question has been on the register for the maximum amount of time, and if I had to ask that question today, and also the question about Balaclose School, both would have just dropped off the register. So neither are urgent. They've been waiting a long time, and I thought it was still worth asking today.
Is the accusation you're constantly on repeating questions unfair?
I'm here as a backbencher. I need to ask questions that are relevant and up to date and are giving an indication what's actually happening in here.
As we're approaching the general election, can we expect to see more questions?
I wouldn't say more, no, definitely not. In terms of questions I ask, probably ask on average 5 a week, and I expect it to remain at that level until things change.
Questions for Arbury, Castletown and Maloo MHK, Jason Morehouse there. 11 minutes past 5. The Isle of Man's King Scallop fleet has made a really positive start to the season, but prices for those exporting their catch are down. Now, this is according to David Beard, the CEO of the Manx Fish Producers Association. And while stocks are strong around the island's coast, he says an abundance of scallops being caught in the English Channel has saturated the market across. Dr. Beard has been speaking to our Simon Clark.
It's been a really positive start as far as catch is concerned. We have a daily catch limit in place of 800 kilos a day. Of all the fishing trips that are going out, over 90% of them are catching their daily catch limit, and within only a few hours. It's only taken 2 or 3, maybe 4 tows to actually get the daily catch limit. Wow. So the stocks are really high at the moment, and that's down to the management that's been in place over the last few years. We have a long-term management plan in place, and that's really helped to increase the stock. Part of it's been because we've reduced the number of vessels that can fish in Manx waters.
Well, of course, the Isle of Man have got a good record in the past for the quality of their queenies and scallops, haven't they?
Yeah, the quality is one of our selling points. I mean, we get a very good white meat, very large meat, and also with a good amount of roe on the scallop, which helps us to attract certain markets in Europe, and also helps us compete in a very challenging market.
How much of the scallops are going off island? Because we do have a lot of people on the island that are very, very fond of seafood, which is great. Is a lot of it stay on the island, and how much would go away?
Oh, it would be well in excess of 95% go off the island. So that would be mostly going to France, to the big supermarkets in France, and to some individual retailers. But yeah, the vast majority is exported, so it's a really good thing for exports for the Isle of Man.
You said the catches are really good since the start of November in this scallop season, but prices are down, I heard?
Yeah, prices are down, and that's mainly due to the amount that's being caught in the Channel, not necessarily by the French and the French market that they supply, but there's been huge catches in the Channel from UK vessels, and this followed a 4.5-month closure to protect spawning stocks, which was a large increase on previous years in terms of length of closure. And what happened then was there was a shortage of scallops in that closure period because half the channel was closed. But then when it opened again, there was a glut because everybody piled straight in and started fishing it. In a similar way that used to be done here. As soon as somewhere opened, everybody would go there. And so the landings, which aren't controlled by daily catch limits or by total allowable catches in the UK fishery, they just got a bit out of hand, and so that saturated the market. So that, as a result, has reduced the prices that we can get.
That is the CEO of the Manx Fish Producers Association, Dr. David Beard. And you can hear more of that chat. It's available as a podcast, the Countryside programme with Simon and Kiri. Just go to manxradio.com. It is 14 minutes past 5.
Manx Radio Travel, driven by Quayside Tyres and Service Centre.
Well, thank you to everyone who's letting us know that the traffic lights are currently out at the Woodburn Road, York Road junction. We understand it's a little bit chaotic around there at the moment. Hopefully that will be resolved very shortly. If you're in that area, though, do take care. Nothing else to report as far as we are aware on the roads. Remember, the Mountain Road is now open again. It opened at 4:30 after the scheduled closure. All looking okay down at the airport and at the steam packet for tonight. The Manxman is due into Douglas at around 6, heading out for Heysham again at 19:45. There is a potential question mark over the 8 a.m. sailing to Heysham tomorrow. That's because of the possible adverse weather. A final decision will be made about that by 6 a.m.
Quayside Tyres and Service Centre with 1 year's free engine warranty from Castrol. Get more with
Quayside. It's 5:15. Now, staying on the theme of travel, motorists are being urged to make the right decision this festive period and plan ahead if you're out enjoying the December festivities. Police arrested 3 people over the weekend on suspicion of drink driving. And for those relying on public transport, it was another weekend of disruption, with bus Vannin warning of continuing service pressures. John Moss has this report for us.
Many people rely heavily on the transport of delight that is the bus. And come the festive drinking season, the penalty for not getting someone else to drive and getting behind the wheel yourself can be life-changing. This last weekend, the police told us 3 bad decisions were taken, 3 arrests on suspicion of drink driving. In the force's words, a reckless decision could cost you everything. And the state you're in, of course, could then be life-altering for a perfectly sober driver who happens to be unfortunate enough to be in your vicinity. But to catch a bus first, the bus must be there. And in the last few months, issues over staffing and sickness have resulted in services being cancelled or threatened with cancellation. This last weekend, the Bus Vannin website started off with the chilling phrase, "Sadly, due to continuing service pressures, we are giving early notice of services at risk." Then a list of those services. As the weekend went on, more encouraging news came out. Quote, "The following services have been covered, but we're now in the festive period when buses offer the route home for many. So current difficulties in staffing have to be frustrating for those who rely on buses for transport." Excuse me, sir, you use buses. Are you finding them a bit problematic at the moment?
Yeah.
In what way?
Just that they're not on time and there's not enough drivers.
Do you find them cancelled occasionally?
Sometimes, yeah.
Have there been occasions where you really needed a bus and...
When you got them to work, yeah, so...
What about the festive season? Are you planning to use buses or taxis or what?
Buses. Buses or walk.
Walk?
Yeah.
Do you live far from here?
Not far, no. It's about a 15-minute walk in town.
Well, it's quite a way, though.
It's not too bad, yeah.
Especially if the weather's poor.
Yeah.
So, do you feel you can rely on the buses over...
Not at the minute, no. And I wouldn't pay for a taxi, I'd walk.
Do you use buses?
I do all the time.
Are they reliable?
No.
How often do you find they're not here?
Right? Quite often. They're short of drivers, they keep saying.
Is this your bus here?
Yes.
Well, this one's arrived on time, hasn't it?
Yes.
So you catch it?
Whether it leaves or not.
Do you rely on buses?
Yes, I do.
Do you find that they're reliable at the moment?
Absolutely not. Sometimes they don't turn up and there's no notification that they're not coming, and you're standing waiting for a bus and one doesn't turn up.
Driving a bus day in and day out, in daylight and at night, isn't easy. The responsibilities of dealing with the safety of hundreds of people, and complaints, and the repetitive nature of the job, dealing with differing weather conditions. The job of making sure the island's handsome fleet of up-to-date buses are able to provide those services advertised falls to Dr. Michelle Hayward, the new infrastructure political supremo. Placing daffodils in the vacant driver's seat might not solve this one.
John Moss reporting. 18 and a half minutes past 5 here on Update. And are you a carer? Well, there's a coffee morning tomorrow, so you can find out what support is available for you here on the Isle of Man. Let's find out more about this with Manx Care's Day Services Manager, Sonia Blake, who joins us on the line now. Good evening, Sonia. What exactly is happening tomorrow?
Yeah, so this was really the brainchild of Caroline Horn, who's the manager of what we call Central Lamina, which is a day service centre for elderly social care in Farmhill in Douglas. And she kind of noticed really when she became registered manager that although we were kind of trying to obviously kind of meet the needs of the service user, that the carers were actually in desperate need of kind of help and assistance and really kind of navigating those pathways of help.
So you're having this meeting then for carers. I suppose some people will be wondering what sort of definition of carer you're using for this. Do they have to be registered somewhere?
No, I don't think they particularly need to be registered. I think we're going to keep it kind of quite open to begin with. We're dipping our toe in the water, to see if we can be, beneficial and we can guide people, to the right services. Now, this is older people's services, so it is probably mainly for people who are going to be kind of feel that they are carer for, for an older person in their life, whether or not that be their mum or dad or their partner. So we're going to have people there from the third sector, from St Matters, Admiral Nurses, and also our kind of older people's mental health and the wellbeing partnership, because I think we just need to be able to guide people, because we would have people entering our services maybe who are maybe paying for continence products, and we could kind of say, oh no, you need to see the continence nurse, and you could get those for free. So just any little assistance or any pathways that we can kind of guide people on, just to make that journey a little bit easier.
I suppose the problem, Sonia, is that if you are caring for somebody, sometimes it's hard to leave them to go along to events, but are you able to bring the person you're caring for with them?
100%, and that's why we're having it where we're having it, because it's obviously an environment where you can bring the carer into, because that's where our day services are actually based. So, and we will have enough people there to be on hand to assist while you go and maybe privately speak to somebody that you want to speak to.
Well, it sounds incredibly useful, Sonia. Would you be able to just give us the details of exactly where and when it's happening, and whether people need to let you know if they're coming?
It would be great if you could let us know. That would be amazing if you just dropped Caroline Horn a quick email at caroline.horn@gov.im. That would be fine. But if not, please don't worry. It's based in Farm Hill in Douglas, and it's kind of central Lamina. And it is happening from 10:30 until about 12:30 tomorrow. But we're always there, and we're always open for for a conversation. If you can't make that time, please make contacts with us anyway, and we'll try and see what we can do.
Sonia Blake, thank you so much for talking to us this evening, and we hope it goes really well.
Okay, lovely. Thank you for your time. Bye.
Wonderful. So if you are a carer, then do go along tomorrow if you can. caroline.horn@gov.im is the email address if you are able to send a note just to say that you're coming, so there's enough tea and cake for you. 22 minutes past 5. Now, the owners of a disabled dog have thanked the Isle of Man community for helping to fund a meeting with the super vet. Andy and Pete Nolan's rescue pooch Vin, who was saved from the streets in Thailand, has been referred to Noel Fitzpatrick to see what can be done to extend his life expectancy. Within hours of asking the Manx public for support, more than £3,000 was raised, meaning the Ramsey couple can take the 4-year-old to Surrey early next year.
I was scrolling through their website, and there he was. And I literally fell in love with just a picture. So obviously, and this is no fault on the vets here, but there's always been the question of quality of life for Vinny here on the island, by the vets we see. We had a conversation. He had a bit of a do a few weeks ago where he couldn't put the paw down for about 4 or 5 days. So we took him to the vets, and they said we had to start making memories with him. It really, really upset me. And everybody kept saying to refer him to Noel Fitzpatrick. So I contacted Noel Fitzpatrick, and he had to be referred by my vet. And 2 days later, we got a call. And we never expected the fundraiser to even meet £500.
No, we just did it in hope, really, didn't we? To get a little something might help, but to get that much in
just to go and see him,
time,
and we made it very clear this is not for treatment.
For a scan.
It's for a scan just to try and extend his life. So Noel Fitzpatrick is considering an elbow infusion, but we have no idea of the cost involved in that. But we have to factor everything in there. How long would it extend his life? If we just left him as it is, he wouldn't make his 5th birthday if we just left it.
Yeah, if he gets to a point where he can't physically walk or crawl, then how sad it'll be. But he'll be at a point where his life's not fulfilling enough to warrant staying alive.
The thought of that is heartbreaking to us. We feel we owe it to Vin, because he's fought so hard, survived so much cruelty, street life, endless operations. We feel that we have to fight for him, to give him... I'm not asking for miracles. I know there's going to be one day where I'm going to have to say goodbye to him, but hopefully that's not going to be for a couple more years.
Oh, isn't that heartbreaking? Andy and also Pete Nolan there talking about their rescue pooch Vin, and we have everything crossed. We'll catch up with them after they've been to see the Supervet and see how they get on. 17:24, 5:24. I don't know why I went all posh timing. It's because Rob Pritchard is back from his holidays. You're looking rested and relaxed. Are you okay?
I'm all right. No tan, though. Haven't gone too far afield.
Slightly off-white, maybe? No? OK. Sports news then.
Indeed, starting with cycling. British Continental Cycling Squad St Piran, which has fielded several Manx riders now and previously in recent years, won't race in 2025. Well, confirming the news in a recent statement, the team says this comes following a tough season and turbulent media coverage hitting sponsorship opportunities for next year. The decision to withdraw will apply to both St Piran's Pro Cycling UCI Continental team and WRT Elite Development team. Isle of Man professional rider Tyler Hannay has been part of the squad this year and claimed his first UCI stage victory with them at the Tour of Poyang Lake in China in September. Among the other Manx competitors to have been part of the Cornwall-based setup in recent times are Max Walker, Tom Matsone and Leon Matsone. The organisation adds, bad luck, poor health and an unfair reminder we have made mistakes over the 8 years of development have contributed to this decision. You can see St Piran's full statement on the matter at manxradio.com. Elsewhere, there's been double success for Isle of Man badminton player Kim Clegg. She claimed 2 medals during the 29th English National Masters Championship held in Hatfield from Friday to Sunday last week. One of those medals was gold. That came in the women's doubles 35 and over class, as she and teammate Kelly Ferry, they won the final in commanding style too, with a straight sets win over Helen Calverley and Lucy Kidd. Elsewhere, Clegg claimed bronze in the mixed doubles 35 and over category alongside Nikita Kolomnin. The Ireland player is no stranger to success. She claimed Ireland Games gold for the Isle of Man last year alongside Jess Lee in the women's doubles. And finally, after a pulsating mixed cup finals day in Isle of Man hockey at the weekend, the final rearranged league games of the 2024 mixed season beckon, starting this evening. The first of 3 games in 3 days takes place under the floodlights at the NSC tonight in Mixed Division 1 as Vikings C host Ramsey A at 7 p.m. Well, a number of league contests are still to be played after a large number of postponements on Saturday the 23rd of November due to the effects of Storm Bert.
Thank you very much indeed, Rob. Enjoyed your use of the word pulsating there. Should just tell you we have the latest Journey to a Dream episode available. It is with Ryan and Callum Crowe. So if you want to hear from the sidecar duo who really have had a fantastic 2024 and also hear about their plans for next year, then head over to the Manx Radio website and find it in our podcast section. Just a reminder, the traffic lights are still out on Woodburn Road and York Road Junction, we understand, so do take care if you are in that area. We'll keep you updated on that throughout this evening. And generally, that's all from Update. So thank you very much for being here. More on all the top stories at manxradio.com. Remember, you can also find the longer interviews as well as newscasts on the Manx Radio website. And if there's something you've got an opinion on, then you can leave a message on our out-of-hours man-in-line number. That's 682 631. Stay with Manx Radio this evening. Up next, it's Countryside with Simon and Kiri. Chris Kinley's here from 6 with Greatest Hits. John Barker has the Folk Show from 9. Then Dave Moore is in charge of After Hours from 10. Enjoy your evening and we'll be back with you with Update from 5 p.m. tomorrow.